Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Marion and I do fashion tutorials and DIY videos. So today I'm doing a tutorial for this swimsuit. It's shirred and it's off shoulder, as you can see. So yeah, let's get straight to the video so that if you want to know how I did this, you can learn and try it for yourself. So this is the fabric I'm using, and I'm starting by folding it. I want to fold the quarter, my hip measurement, plus some allowance, about 4 inches of extra allowance. So because my fabric is not really straight at the top, I'm going to do a straight line just to make it straight for the pattern, and then I shall start doing the measurements. So because it's an off shoulder, I want to mark the armhole, and I'm just putting the tape measure a bit far from the initial line because it's an off shoulder. Okay, so around 4 inches on top of the actual fabric. From that, I measured the armhole, the waistline, I measured the hip line, and then I measured the crotch line. So at the armhole, I've measured quarter my bust measurement, and then at the waistline, I'm going to measure quarter my waist measurement and connect the armhole to the waistline. Then at the hip line, I'm going to measure quarter my hip measurement and connect that line, as you can see. Then at the crotch line, my crotch line, I measured 11 from the waist, and I'm just doing 4 inches, just standard. That's what I think was enough for my crotch. Honestly, I didn't use any other reason to do 4 inches, and that was it. Then from the waist, as you have seen, coming down, I did 3 inches waistline. On that line I did 3 inches, and then I carved it into the crotch to create my leg hole or something. Leg hole, that's what I'm going to call it. So with that, we have done the initial pattern, and because this fabric is not stretchy and want to do shirring, I'm going to add some allowance to enable me wear it without needing a zip or fastening or an opening. So I'm going to measure parallel to the side seam. I'm just ensuring that where my waist is, I want to ensure it's around my hip measurement. So that's 40 inches, a quarter of 40, 10. And then from where I have marked, I'm just ensuring that I have parallel lines for the side seams to add for like an allowance. So generally, to make it simpler, I added around 3 inches for allowance, for side seam allowance. I added it up to even the neckline, as you can see. And then for the crotch, I did not add much because the 4 inches I had already put was enough for shirring and to be able to fit my crotch area. So this is what I have, and I'm going to cut it out. And this is going to be the front of my swimsuit. If you want a higher cut for the legs, of course, instead of going 3 inches from the waistline down, you can go maybe 1 inch, or just connect the crotch all the way to the waistline, and you can have like a higher cut of your leg hole or whatever. So I'm just folding it over here to get the back piece of the swimsuit. I don't want to have a seam at the crotch, so that's why I'm just folding it before I cut across the crotch, and then I drew a different line for the leg, because for the back I want it to cover a bit more of the ass. So yeah, that's why it's not as curved in as the front. It's just straight down to the crotch. And with that, I have my piece for the swimsuit. So as you saw in the pictures, the swimsuit has like a ruffle top, and this is what I'm cutting. Just need 2 rectangles, one for the front and one for the back. I ended up cutting 50 inches by 7 inches for both pieces. So yeah, this is just what I'm cutting. It doesn't have to be 50, you can do it shorter as well. So yeah, as I said, for this one, it doesn't have to be exactly 50 inches by 7. It depends on what you want for your swimsuit. Can be longer, can be shorter. Yeah, whatever your preference is. So these are the pieces. The first piece is the body of the swimsuit, and after we do the shirring, it's not going to be as wide as it looks here. It's most of it is just the extra allowance to enable you wear it easily without need of an opening, or yeah. And then these 2 pieces are for the ruffle at the top. So now, going straight into sewing, I am winding my elastic thread into my bobbin. I'm using my hands, and as I wind, I'm pulling on the thread so that it goes in with a bit of tension to be able to do the shirring correctly. So yeah, remember to wind the elastic thread using your hands. It's better for the tension. You want it to go in like when it's already stretched into the bobbin. Then I loosened my bobbin case for the thread because it's heavy, it's thicker, to be able to pass through the bobbin case easily. So from there, I just want to make my shirring lines across the fabric. So I think I need to say that when you are doing the shirring, provided you have you did wind your bobbin correctly, and that there's no tension or pulling, just be patient. Not the first line is not going to produce the gathers for the shirring, but when you get to like the 4th line or 5th line, you'll start to see the gathers for the shirring forming. So just be patient. It's not going to start shirring immediately with the first line, but at the 4th, 5th line, you're supposed to start seeing the gathers forming. So I started at the top of the patterns, and I wanted to work my way up till the crotch area. So as you can already see, the gathers have formed. You see, the gathers for the shirring have already formed throughout the swimsuit that's already done, and I'm just continuing until I finish the whole piece. So that's how it's looking after all the shirring is done. You can see it has shrunk. It's no longer as big as it was before the shirring was done. So it's looking real nice and it's coming together. And now the next thing to do is attach the side seams. Okay, before attaching the side seams, because you're going to be going back into regular thread, you want to tighten the bobbin case because regular thread is thinner than the elastic, and then make sure you have the regular thread at the bottom to do the side seams and all the other seams you're going to be doing from now on. So right sides casing, I'm just going to attach the side seams. For the left and right side of the swimsuit. So then I decided to do the zigzag stitch at the edge to overlock the side seam, the raw edge. So we're going to fold and hem the armhole. So just fold, tuck and do a straight stitch all along the armhole. Do it for the both armholes. And then using the same process, just fold and tuck the legs, the leg holes. What are they called? Yeah, it's just the leg parts. Fold and then do that. If you think your swimsuit is too big, you can use elastic at this process. A thin elastic, like 1/8 inch elastic, and then just stitch it on top as you fold the leg, please. In fact, when I do this again, I'll make sure to use an 1/8 inch elastic when I'm doing this leg parts, because it's going to fit better. When the leg is done, it's time to put in our ruffle parts at the top. So just mark the center of both the back piece and the right piece, then mark the centers at the ruffle pieces you're adding, and then you want to connect them. You want to connect them. The right side of the swimsuit should be facing the wrong side of the ruffle part, so that, yeah, you get what I mean. Pull on the swimsuit so that you sew on like a straight and pleated part of the, don't sew on the gathers, just make sure you're pulling on it so that it's straight. Then do the same for the other side. After the ruffles part are on, do the side seam for the ruffles. And then now you're going to fold a casing for elastic at the top. Fold around 1/2 inch, and it's going to be casing for elastic to go all around the top of the swimsuit. Leave around 1 inch to be able to enter and pass the elastic through that casing part. So when the casing is done, this is how it looks. I have already hemmed the bottom of this ruffle part, and so what's left is just putting in the elastic and then finishing off the 1 inch we had left for the casing to go through, for the elastic to go through. And there we are done with the swimsuit. I was able to test this swimsuit in water and it did well. Yeah, it just felt as any other swimsuit, and so I would recommend, if you want like Ankara, if you like a print and you want to turn it into a swimsuit, I'd recommend you try this. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.